student portal? Somebody just give me a quick little yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, so if you don't know your student portal information, you can ask me that. You can just send me a message and I have all that for you. So if you don't know what your login is, I'll give that to you, no problem. So you don't need to ask me about that right now. Assuming you know how to log into your student portal, you should see something that looks very similar to this. And there's a couple of things that are. Hey, Isaiah, you're not on mute, bro. All right. There are a couple of things that I want to make sure I point out to you that are going to come in handy for checking your grade for the entire year. The first thing is math is one of those class. Well, it's the only class at Ballard that lasts all year long. So if you go to your student portal and you look under term 1, which would make sense, you would think you would need to do that, but that's actually not what you're going to do. You won't see any grades there. You're actually going to go to term 6 where it says final grade, and that's where your grades will be, because officially your grade in math doesn't actually count until the very end of the school year. So you need to go to term 6, not term 1, 2, 3. There's some positives to that. You know, if you dig yourself into a hole, you do have some time to get out. But on the negative side, though, you don't really get a chance to start over like you do in middle school either. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's just a good idea to start out solid, and the more you build a good base for a grade, the better. Because it's pretty hard, over halfway through the year, if you've got yourself in a good place, it's kind of hard to really kill your grade later on the year because we have so many grades. By the same token, if you kind of slack off for the first couple of months and you decide, snap, I really need to get myself together. I mean, yes, you've got time to recover, but all those grades from earlier when you weren't doing what you're supposed to do are there too. So please keep all of that in mind over the course of the school year, that your grade is just going to be one big grade that lasts the whole year. So let's say you're this kiddo and you have just logged into your portal. You will see right here where it says final grade. That is the actual grade that gets posted to your transcript, is what it says right there for final grade. And that grade is a combination of a couple of different things. The first thing that grade entails is right here, your progression category. So the progress category is kind of exactly what you think it would be. It's whether or not you're making progress, towards understanding the concept. So for example, I graded your statistics review homework for accuracy. So that went in as a progress grade for how are you making progress, towards mastering the standards so far. That's also where I put the little Kahoot bonus if you were somebody that got that too. So all of your quizzes, classwork that we do live, things that are measuring what kind of progress are you making, that goes in the progress category. And the progress is 50% of your grade. So that, that percentage right there, that 85.71, half of that comes from progress. And the other half of your grade comes from a category that we haven't actually had a grade for yet. The other half of your grade comes from mastery. And mastery is obviously whether you have mastered the standards. Typically, that is going to take the form of some kind of a test. Or, since we're online right now, there are going to be some assignments where I have you schedule an appointment with me and you work me through, explain to me how to do a problem, something like that. So anything where, it's the end of the unit, we're trying to determine, have you actually mastered this concept? That goes in your mastery category, and that is also 50% of your grade. We obviously don't have any mastery yet. That'll be coming fairly soon, in the next week. But we're not going to talk about that today. So I know.
Why can't we see our grade?
Do what, honey?
Why can't we see our grade? Like how you can see it there, we can't see that.
You should be able to. Honey, you're probably just under the wrong thing. So,
No, I can't either.
like in your portal?
Yeah,
we can't.
Okay, get with me in just a little bit and we'll figure out. You're probably just going to the wrong spot. But we will, because I actually downloaded this progress report from kids in my, so like, it's there somewhere, we just gotta find it. So don't worry about that right now. I'll help you figure that out after class. Or actually, we'll have some work time. You can ask me that then, like after I'm done. So for those of you guys at home that are sitting here, you're probably thinking, hey, wait a second. Progress is 50%. Mastery is 50%. But all this homework I've been doing, right here, falls under engagement. So am I just wasting my time because that doesn't count for anything? No, that's not true. It does count for something. So let me explain. So engagement is, basically, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Like, did you do the survey I asked you to do? Are you doing your entrance tickets? Are you doing your classwork? So the box plots. I also track whether or not you show up for extra support sessions too. Because I do kind of factor that in towards your engagement, like whether you're putting in effort. You certainly don't, have to show up, but if you kind of feel like you need the help, you need some engagement credit, you can get that by showing up for extra help sessions too. So what this engagement grade does for you, like we're going to use this kid as an example. So let's say this kid has in the grade book right now, again, he's got an 85.70, so an 86% basically. That is what would go on the report card. But I'm going to look at this kid's engagement average. Isaiah, you're not on mute again. Love you. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to look at this kid's engagement average. So see right here, this kid does 100% of what he is supposed to do all the time. So nothing wrong with a B. 87 is definitely, or 86 is a really solid average to just get on your quizzes and your tests. But I feel like there needs to be something in there for the fact that he has literally done everything I've asked him to do. So when I go to actually post that grade, I'm going to post a slightly higher grade. So if this were the end of the year, if I had a kid that had 100% engagement, that means he literally did everything, then I'm probably going to post a 90, like an A instead of this 86%. So there's a lot of really good reasons for you to do your homework. Obviously, the biggest thing is that's how we get the notes, right? Because we don't really take notes here in class. Those entrance tickets are how you actually get the notes. So besides the fact that class is going to be a lot harder for you if you don't know what you're doing, I am also tracking all of that stuff, and that grade is not for nothing. So, if you're, a couple points away from the next level, I'm going to post a higher grade if you have a high engagement average. So as a counterexample to that one, let's look at another kid here. So this kid right now has a C for their final grade. So the next thing I'm going to do, if I'm posting their grade for real, like for a report card, and I'm going to look at their engagement grade. So I'm going to look right here, and I'm going to see that they only did 2/3 of their work. So I'm not going to be increasing that 71. And I can tell my screen just froze. Sorry, I know you guys can't see the one I just did. I just realized my screen's not matching yours. Kind of froze up a little bit. But hopefully that kind of gives you an idea. Let me see if I can. I'm going to try real quick to unfreeze my screen. Hold, please, guys. Doggone it. Hold on 1 second, because I really want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. Let me try to reconnect this. I thought that I had my network stuff. I'm recording this right now too, guys. So you can always take a look at that a little bit later too. But I was just showing you, like, this kid is an example of one that I wouldn't change, right? Because if I'm posting his grade and I see that his grade is, a 71, and then I look at his engagement and his engagement is only at like a 66%, I'm not going to increase that kid's grade because he really wasn't doing a lot more than half of his work. He's only doing like 2/3. So even though the engagement, it's not going to factor, like when you regularly check your grades, that's the important part I want to make sure you understand. When you go to check your grade, this final grade that is calculated by Student Portal is what's going to show up, that blue one. But if your engagement grade is really high, then that means that your final grade that really counts is going to be higher than that. And I know that's confusing. The district really, 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 really wanted us to only count progression and mastery this year. I guess because some kids, have issues with logging in or whatever, so they didn't really want us to count effort. So it's like excluded from the way Portal calculates it. But please know, when I go to post your grade, I'm taking that engagement into account. Okay, does anybody have any questions, like for the group? Something I didn't think about before I move on to my next thing. I know at the end of the day, the grade is the stuff that you kids really care about. So I wanted to make sure that now that you've got some grades in, that I let you know about that. Okay, well, I'm going to assume we're